Okay, let's continue. So we already know the black line refers to the zero intelligent agents. When they trade, they will trade at different prices, which is has much more noise than the idealized middle age, uh, the middle price. Okay, so this is very risky. A lot of noises, a lot of errors, a lot of variations. That is understandable because it's zero intelligence, because there's a lot of random bid and ask. But what's at this green line? Well, this green line are the buyer's venues. The pink line are the seller's cost. So we can see that the actual transaction price is in the middle. That is reasonable because we are under the constraint situation. That is, the actual price transacted or the actual offering price cannot go beyond the buyer's valuation. The buyer would not offer price beyond their value, the product's value, and the seller will not accept any price below its cost. You are not the sellers will only sell above their cost, otherwise they will lose a lot of money. Therefore, the actual transaction price is in the middle. So that makes sense. We kept the constraint. So that makes sense. Okay. Previously, we mentioned that the part of the reason I explore this model is because Rob Axtell, Professor Axtell, has mentioned this model and actually point out two interesting things. That is, in real world, in idealized world, and mostly in real world, all the prices will, the transaction prices, or the transactions will be achieved among these buyers and these sellers. Okay, among these buyers and these sellers, not between these sellers and these buyers, or these sellers and these buyers. That all the trades are happening around here. That's normal, that's natural, that's understandable. But could it be possible that these high price buyers and these high price sellers, can they meet? I mean, visually they can, because their prices are high, they're willing to pay higher price, and they only willing to offer high price to sell it. But they could match their prices and the deal can be made. But why our model don't generate trades between these two, or between these two buyers and sellers? They are efficient producer and they are very poor buyer. They can't offer higher price and they could accept low price. And in theory, they can make a deal too, but why don't they? Well, naturally, according to our previous analysis, is that, this high price buyer, they know all the prices. So, they would also want to make profit. So they will choose the low price seller. And this low price seller will choose high price buyer. Okay. And this high price seller, they just are not privileged. They don't have much power to ask these people to trade with them because they have better options. Therefore, there's nobody trade with them, nobody trade with them. But could this be possible? This high price buyer and this high price seller, could they trade? And could they trade too? And in reality, there may be situations these two scenarios could happen. That is, for example, if we put this on, which is saying that we remove all the low-cost sellers, okay? The low-cost sellers, let's remove them from the market. Now what would happen? Okay, if we remove them, what happens is there is trade happening. And as we can see, all the price has been dealt above the idealized average price. And we are talking about these high price buyers. Their buying prices are very high. And also the sellers, their selling prices are very high too. Because the low price sellers, they are gone. They are out of the market. So in this way, only these two groups can trade. Okay, because they wouldn't accept low price. They only accept high price, so they trade. So yeah, it happens. But the condition is we have to remove the low price sellers. Could it happen in the real world? Sometimes it could. When it could, that's because things like protectionism, situation like trade war, in which the country want to protect their own industry, which are not very efficient, which only offer high price. The foreign companies offers much lower price, but the country can say, no, we will not allow you to come into our country. We will charge very, very high tax of imported goods. So even though you sell it at a very low price, but when you come into my country, the price will be very high. Therefore, we only have high price sellers. That's why these things could happen. This could be a reality under protectionism and trade war situation. Okay, so how about these low sellers and the low price buyers? Can they trade together? Yes, they could too. When we put on, when we substitute, that is, remove all the higher buyers, high price buyers. Let's remove them, and we will have, yes, we have trade between the low price seller and low price buyer. So why could this happen? Because we removed high price buyer. And could this happen in reality? Yes, it also could. When can this happen? The high price buyer, they're out of the market, or everybody are forced to buy at a very low price. How could this happen? That's because although the product itself can have a lot of value, but for some reason the government wouldn't allow those products to be sold at a very high price. For example, if a country in hyperinflation, everything is sold very, very expensively, and the citizens cannot afford even cannot even afford even basic food like bread. And in that circumstances, the government may step in and say, look, no one should sell bread at a very high price. Everybody, you can only sell under this price. Okay? In that case, maybe we will observe transactions like this. So these two scenarios could happen. And in reality, it can happen under certain circumstances. All right, so we explored the model a little bit further, and we see two different situations which have some reality grounding in the real world. And later on, we will examine how exactly the zero intelligence agents trade with each other in this model.